So while we were at Lake Hartwell State Park, we rode down to Sadlers Creek State Park. We didn't stay there. There is campsites available.
There are 3 separate campsites.
Yeah, they have three, what they call Loop 1, Loop 2, and Loop 3. Loop 1 is currently closed due to renovations. We walked down there to try and get a view of it. They're putting in 50 amp service, and it is all tore up. We couldn't get down there. There's huge trenches dug through the middle of it, piles of dirt. It's hard to tell what the sites themselves look like, but it's right down on the water level.
The view from what we could see was
looked
gorgeous.
Amazing. So as that gets redone, Site 1 is probably going to be the more premier of the camps, of the loops. Loop 2 was kind of a straight road in with a cul-de-sac on the end, sites on both sides. The sites on the left side were more what I would call waterfront, but they were a little higher. You could get down to the water, but it wasn't like right on a beach. That whole area was unpaved. It was just gravel. And those sites, some of them looked a little bit more steep. You could tell some of the way the rigs were a little difficult. Some of the bigger rigs might have a little trouble in there. And then Loop 3 was kind of a more traditional loop.
Is that the one that was down and back?
No, that was Loop 2.
Okay.
Loop 3 was the one that kind of went around in a big circle, the last one. I believe that one just got reopened. It had been closed during the winter for the season, but I think this weekend was the first weekend it was open because it wasn't quite full, which is unusual for a lake campground with the weather we had this weekend. Again, gravel. Some of those sites were a little more unlevel. But some of the views were fantastic. So if you want to come for views, those campgrounds are nice. There's a nice pavilion area.
Super nice playground area.
Very nice playgrounds. There's a playground by campground 2 and 3. And then there's also a playground by the pavilion, which is also where the office is.
It actually is a multi-playground because it's a smaller playground equipment for the littler ones and then bigger taller slides and things for the smaller ones. So if you had a couple kids, you could be all in one big section, but there is stuff for the little guys to do.
Now, our big caveat for Sadlers Creek, we really didn't get a good chance to get a grasp on Sadlers Creek because they're logging the area right now.
Like extreme logging.
It's pretty tore up. It's hard to really tell. It looks like there's a lot of hiking at Sadlers Creek.
And we did do one trail that was really, really nice. It was very accessible. It had it was concrete for a lot of it.
It was concrete with a nice bridge. Along that trail is a disc golf course.
That looks almost brand new. I mean, it's still super shiny, super yellow. All the signage is there with the yardage and exactly, where you stand and the pars. I mean, it was really nice.
It was very well done. And there actually was a sign that said that they are working on another 9 holes. I imagine they're waiting on all this logging to get done because the logging was right up against the edge of that disc golf area and probably interfered with a couple of the holes.
And there also was like a butterfly garden that looks like it's out of season, but it was a big rock grouping that was in the shape of a butterfly and where plantings are normally. And it's very close to the bathrooms and on that end of the trail from the bathrooms and playground for the day use side, so you could walk that direction and look at that if you had little ones. It does look like there's a very large beach, as we can say. You're still on Lake Hartwell, so you're going to have kind of that reddish mud clay, but there is access to water there to play. There were people lounging in beach chairs playing games. There were kids playing in the water.
Couple kids playing in the water, even though it was kind of chilly to me. The ranger station here said the water's 57 degrees. That's a little chilly for me.
And they weren't like, swimming. They were knee-deep playing in the water.
And again,
splashing.
A lot of the logging there, it looks like they're going to they've opened that area up for more scenic views and vistas. It looks like there had been some trees there. There's still some stumps.
And there were stacks of picnic table like kind of under that pavilion, so it does look like they'll be spread out. And there was 2 pavilions right on the water where you could have a birthday party or a family gathering and still have access to the playground equipment.
On the other end of the trail that we took, the concrete trail, there's another parking area and another fishing pier similar to what we have here at Lake Hartwell. So a lot of fishing and people want to
People
get out
out
and
there
enjoy the
catching
lake.
stuff
Yeah, they said they caught a couple crappie.
And we did see some kayakers on that side. We haven't seen many on our side of Lake Hartwell, but at Sadlers Creek, we did see.
I will tell you, when I went to
water.
when I went to Clemson, we spent a lot of time on Lake Hartwell. During the summer, this is a busy lake. There are a lot of boats, so be careful if you're here during the summer. I don't know that I'd do a lot of kayaking out in the bigger water. You'd kind of stay back in the bays and in the coves during the summer. During the winter, it's not so bad. There was a fishing tournament going on here this weekend, so a lot of fishermen kind of hightailing it around their boats, trying to get from one spot
Get
to
a
the
great
other
little
as fast as
cove
they
and
could.
find their special spot to fish at.
So, staying at Lake Hartwell State Park, we rode down to Sadlers Creek and decided to stop off for lunch at the Barnwood Grill in Anderson.
Super unique and highly recommended.
Yeah, it wound up talking to Patricia, the owner. She kind of told me the story of the place. It started off, there was a little produce market there, and she had a food truck, and she would come set her food truck up next to the produce market. And it started about 11 years ago, became very popular, so she just kind of made her food truck a permanent structure, or built a little structure there that she kind of attached her food truck to next to the market. About 4 years ago, the owner of the market had some things come up and needed to get out of it. So she bought the market and converted it, and now has grown it into this own facility, for lack of a better description.
I have to look at my notes because I took a picture of what I thought was the sign out front, welcome to the barnyard, please seat yourself. There's the coop, which is where we end up eating. It had 5 tables.
It was like an old carport that they had enclosed in, done it all rustic, had an air conditioner in there, so you could be there in ceiling fans, so you could eat in there during the summer.
Or you could eat indoors, which is the little attachment to the food truck, which is 3 tables. There were 5 tables outside, or there were 3 tables in the produce market. So they had people separate waiting on people in the produce market. Like our Kinsey was our person in the coop, and that was her space, and she had it under control. And then there were some tables scattered outside. So where you felt comfortable eating inside. And even the coop was kind of inside outside, like the doors were open because it was beautiful
the weather was
out.
stunning.
It was so cool and so unique. The produce market also had great, obviously produce, but they had meat, some of the meats that they served there. They also had like cured bacon, all local.
She said they tried to do as much local as they could, so even the jams, jellies, the bread is brought in fresh from a local baker right here in Anderson. They actually had an employee that made some of the pickled ham, pickled eggs,
Yeah, Z-Man Pickles.
Yeah.
So he made, I had to throw in, and I'll see if I can get this in there, is a picture of spicy pickled bologna.
Yeah, it was.
Ingredients are bologna, vinegar, spices, and hot pepper. So made right there in Anderson. He also had all kinds of more common pickles.
Yeah, it was a really unique place. The food was fantastic. They actually have been rated number 2 burger in the South by Garden and Gun magazine.
I had the mushroom and Swiss burger, which was excellent. And the mushrooms are fresh from the produce market. But you had something called the Big Sexy.
The Big Sexy. It had blue cheese and bacon on it, and it was fantastic. I'm a big blue cheese fan, so.
And probably Clemson blue cheese, because they had Clemson blue cheese and Clemson ice cream in their produce section as well.
Yeah, so well worth going and checking it out.
And not very expensive.
No, it was not too bad. I think it was $7 or $8 for the burger and a couple bucks for a basket of fries to go with it. It's probably about a 20-minute ride from Lake Hartwell State Park, probably about a 15-minute ride from Sadlers Creek. It's right almost in between the two. As we were coming back, we came almost within 3/4 of a mile of it, so it's right along the way in between the two. So definitely want to check out the Barnyard Grill.
And the people were great.
All in all, I think Sadlers Creek has a lot of potential. It's just hard to see in the midst of all that logging
The grand scheme
what it's going to be when it's all done.
But if you're going to Lake Hartwell, that would be the opportunity to check that out. I would, if you can't get in here and you get in there, I think that would be every bit as equal of a trip and opportunity, activity kind of stuff.